Bar chords are notorious for being hard, but they don't have to be. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 secrets that I like to use to make bar chords buzz-free, clean, and consistent. And at the end, I'm going to share with you a little bonus to show you how you can make any chord on the guitar neck with one bar chord shape. All that right after this. This acoustic guitar quick win is brought to you by Tony'sAcousticChallenge.com. I'm Tony Policastro from Tony'sAcousticChallenge.com, where we're all about expanding our quality of life through music and having as much fun as possible with our guitars. And now one surprising way to have as much fun as possible with your guitar is refining your bar chords. I'm going to use the F chord, the dreaded full F chord, and that has your index finger laying across the first fret from the low E to the high E, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the D, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G. Fretting all of those strings, that's a bar chord. It's beautiful, it's a beautiful thing, but it definitely involves some strength. So let me share with you my first tip. Oftentimes with bar chords, the high strings start to sound kind of like that. And you think, gosh, well, I'm pressing so hard with my index finger, why can't I fret these strings? It's driving me crazy. Well, oftentimes when trying to do bar chords, you approach it with a flat index finger, using kind of the, we'll call it the meaty part of your index finger. I don't want you to actually fret with that part. I want you to rotate your finger to the outside, to the bony part of your index finger. This is going to give you a harder fretting surface and better contact with the strings, hence allowing you to make those higher strings ring nice and clear. The second thing I want to share with you is something that's a little bit, well, it's just not so obvious. Actually, you're going to use your picking hand, more specifically your picking arm, to make your bar chords cleaner. Here's how you do it. So bar chords, again, involve a lot of strength. And really, truly, our left hand only has so much strength to give. And if you do bar chords for a long time, it gets fatigued rather quickly. But it's not all up to your fretting hand. You might be one of those players that just struggles with getting consistent bar chords because of the strength factor. And what you can do is take your picking hand, again, more specifically your arm, and where your arm comes over the guitar, use it to kind of push on your guitar. See, if I kind of pull in tight here with my picking hand arm, it's pushing the guitar neck forward. Well, that's the kind of action you want. You want to push with your picking hand and pull with your fretting hand. This is going to give you a really solid feel on your fretting hand and ultimately better contact with the entire bar chord and a much cleaner execution of the bar chord. So now you might be thinking, well, okay, Tone, that's great, but bar chords are still really difficult for me and I can't get it. I get it, I can do these things, but it's going to take a lot of time. And yes, I agree, bar chords take time, so you have to have patience. But that doesn't mean you can't play a bar chord right now. There's nothing wrong with playing part of a bar chord. And that's my third trick, is partial chords are just as effective as full chords. This is a huge behemoth of a chord. It's an F chord, but we can take just a piece. Say, let's just take the high 4 strings of this very chord shape. That's still an F chord. Or you can take the low 3 strings. That will work as an F chord. It's actually a power chord shape, but it still works. Or you can take the middle strings, and that's totally fine as well. That would be, let's see, if you're going from this chord shape, you just bring your index finger down to that B string and play the middle strings of the guitar. That's still an F chord as well. So there's way more than one way to skin a cat with a bar chord. And just because the bar chord involves 6 strings, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to use all 6 strings. If it's too hard for you right now, just trim that full chord shape down to something that's a little bit more manageable that you can use right away. It's not a cheat, it's totally acceptable, and I fully endorse it. Which brings me to my final tip. Bar chords. Why do we have to learn them anyway? Well, bar chords are extremely effective because with one shape, you can play any chord on the guitar neck. Any single chord. Let's take, again, this F chord for an example. This is a specific shape, and it's a bar chord, meaning that's a fully closed chord. All the strings are fretted, which means it's movable. And this shape has a root. And to define that a little bit more specifically, that root is the note we turn to name the chord. This is an F chord. That means the root of this chord is an F. And we need to understand the root location, which happens to be on the low E string. So I'm fretting an F note on that low E string. And if I play that shape, it's an F chord. So if I move this chord shape, let's say I move it up 2 frets to the 3rd fret, it's no longer an F chord. It's now a G chord. Why? Because I look to the root, and the note I'm playing is a G note. Same shape, different chord. I could do that all the way up the neck. If I move it up 2 more frets, that becomes an A chord. Because I consult the root, it's an A note. Same shape, it's an A chord. So effectively, by learning one bar chord shape, you can play any chord on the guitar neck. And honestly, I think that's pretty darn cool. As tough as bar chords can be, hopefully I've made them much more simple for you. And now you see a little bit further down the road at how useful bar chords actually truly can be. Now, I hope you totally dug this lesson, and if you did, I want to hear about it in the comments below. And of course, if I forgot any tips or tricks that you like to use, please share them in the comments below. It'll help everybody out on this very difficult and touchy subject, if you will. And one more thing. If you enjoyed this lesson, I know you're going to absolutely love my 5-day acoustic guitar challenge. This is going to give you a new exercise every day for 5 days. You're going to really ramp up your practice habit, and you're going to get techniques and exposure to new things that you can apply to your playing almost immediately. All you have to do to sign up is click the link in the description below, or here in the video. It's going to take you to another page, and within 10 seconds, you'll be playing your very first exercise in the challenge. It's really killer, and I want you to try it. So try it out, and I'll see you in the next lesson.